Hello, I'm Nikita Morel, a copywriter and marketing strategist for architects. And today I want to share with you a framework I've made called Architect's Blueprint to Becoming Memorable. Now, I created this framework because I needed to find a simple way to communicate to architects like yourself why you need to become memorable and what you need to do to become memorable. And because I know you architects are visual creatures and like to process information in a logical way, I thought this framework would be helpful. So let's start with why you need to be memorable. Well, because as you know, the design sales cycle is complex and long. You can't cold call people asking, hey, do you need a building designed? You and I know it both doesn't work like that. So instead, you need to be memorable so that when a client is looking for an architect, whether it's now or in 2 years, they'll think of you first. Put simply, you need to always be on their radar. So how do you do that? Well, to become memorable, so you can win better clients and projects, and so you can build your reputation in the architecture industry, you need to do 2 things. You need to stand out and you need to stand for something. So let's look at the left-hand side here, stand out. So when it comes to branding and marketing, one thing the architecture industry suffers from is sameness. So many architecture firms look, feel, and sound the same. But the problem is when you blend in, it also means you get forgotten. And this is a problem because if you offer the same services as every other firm, and if you describe what you do in the same way, you'll be left competing on price alone, which we all know is a recipe for disaster, and you're just going to attract more of those penny-pinching clients, which nobody wants. So some ways to stand out include creating a strong brand identity. So your brand identity is what makes you instantly recognizable to your client. So it includes visible elements of your brand, such as color palette, typography, design, and logo. And then you've got brand image, which is the basic impression of your brand. So it's what potential clients think or feel about your practice brand. A brand image is developed over time. So it's all the ways the client really gets to interact and experience your brand. So everything from how you answer the phone to your email signature to your studio space. All these things need to be consistent and contribute to this overall feeling of your brand. And then lastly, you've got your brand voice. So when I talk about brand voice, I'm talking about your tone of voice. So it's how your practice expresses itself through the written word. You know, what you say and how you say it. So it includes not only the words you choose, but their order, rhythm, and pace. The tone of voice is an extension of your brand and therefore an expression of your brand personality. And this is where a copywriter like myself comes very in handy. So when you have all these things, what happens is you become distinct. So you get this distinction about you. And then we're going to move over here to the right-hand side. So now the other element is you need to stand for something. So you need to ask yourself, what is the one thing you want to be known for? What is your area of expertise? And what is your X factor? And look, your X factor doesn't have to be a typology, but it can be your process, your design philosophy, the way you service clients, or it can be the specific type of client you service. For example, you might decide to really target in on young professionals with growing families who are relocating to Singapore. Whatever it is, you need to make it one thing. And I know this is scary and it does feel like a bit of a risk. You know, you might feel like you're alienating people or losing out on opportunities if you stand for one thing. But you need to think you will be remembered and you can always pivot and shift. I mean, think of Gensler, you know, they're known for future cities, or Populous, who are known for sports stadiums, or Andre Winner, who's one of my own clients, who's known for designing offices for tech startups. So just remember, it is easy to remain safe and boring. But if you don't stand for something, you're risking that nobody, especially your ideal clients, will care. I mean, if you're an unknown practice and you're exactly like all the other practices out there, why should a client choose you? And knowing all the other options out there, especially as competition's getting quite fierce, why should clients go with you? So really, it's about making people choose you. And then you've got your value proposition. So next you have to really clarify your message. And a great way to do this is to create a strong value proposition. And a great value proposition starts with differentiation. Put simply, what do you do differently? What do you have to offer that's better than or different from any of your prospective alternatives? And at the end of the day, prospective clients want to work with experts. That's why you need to communicate your area of expertise with clarity. Because if you don't, you'll end up attracting the wrong types of clients and saying yes to projects you don't really want to do. So ask yourself, why are you the best choice above all others? What can you do that an offer that no one else can? And I get it, this is hard to do. It's hard to really clarify this, and architects often struggle because they can't clearly articulate what they actually do. And if you're not clear, then no one else is clear, which means you can't really attract the clients you want. So clearly communicating your value proposition is one way to build trust. And then you've got your ideal clients. So you need to ask yourself, who are you serving? So many architects try to be everything to everyone. It's a big mistake. But this one thing you want to be known for, you need to make sure it resonates with your ideal clients. You won't be memorable if you're trying to service everyone. It's as simple as that, because you're just competing in too big a pool. So an exercise to do is to really profile your ideal client. Go beyond their age and their socioeconomic status, but really think about your ideal client in terms of their motivations, their attitudes, the behaviors, what stories are playing in their heads. And once you get a good understanding of this, all the pieces will start to fall into place, and you can then align it to that one thing you want to be known for. And now we're up to my favorite part of all. When you stand out and when you stand for something, you get to this sweet, sweet spot of visible expertise. But before we go into that, I just want to make a point. It's not enough just to stand out. You need to be known for one thing and have that expertise backing you so that people trust you. And it's not enough just to stand for something and be the expert, because what's the point of that if you don't stand out and no one knows you exist? So when you come here, you see this sweet spot and you see visible expertise. Now what happens is that visible expertise sets you apart in a meaningful way and positions you in a place of power. You suddenly go from order taker to expert advisor. You can command higher fees, you get a consistent flow of profitable, desirable work. And just really remember, you can't rely on your reputation alone to communicate your value. So visible expertise also helps you attract better quality talent and even collaboration partners, as people are more likely to want to work for and with a recognized and well-respected practice. So now I want you to take a look at your practice. What can you improve to get to that sweet spot of visible expertise so that when a project arises, your practice is first to mind? I hope you found this valuable, and I'd love to hear what you think about this framework. So please send me your feedback, both good or bad. I'm open to everything. And send me an email at hello@nikitamorel.com, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. Bye.